Well, from London, we're going right the way across the world now to Memphis, Tennessee, and there we have John Wallace. Good afternoon to you, John.
Good afternoon.
I don't know if it's morning for you there.
It is.
What's happening in Memphis at the moment, John?
Well, the crowds are slowly beginning to pile up down at the mansion on the south side of the city. Overnight there were about 60 people, but the number has been growing steadily, and by now the city's heard that there'll be a public viewing this afternoon.
A public viewing? Can you be more explicit with that, John?
Well, as much as I know, for about 2 hours in the middle of this afternoon, they're going to let the public file through the Presley mansion, and the body will lie in state. I'm sure the crowds will be many thousands of people.
Have you heard any more yet? Well, we heard in London that so far Elvis died of a heart attack. Our time, 10:30. It must have been about 2:30 your time. Have they had any news, any other news at all? There was speculation it was drugs and things like that.
Well, this drug business has been kicked around in a lot of... But the medical examiner who conducted a preliminary autopsy last night said there was absolutely no evidence of any drug use on his part. And his personal physician, that might be expected, his personal physician also said the only drugs he had been taking were prescribed medication for... He had a problem of a twisted colon and also for hypertension for some years. But this drug business, it wouldn't seem to make a lot of sense either. He didn't drink, didn't smoke. He had this religious streak in him that he would take drugs while not drinking. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
So the initial reaction after a few hours now, what is the reaction like now?
Well, people seem to be coming out of the daze a little bit. When I arrived here, the whole city seemed to be in shock, like nobody, it's not really sunk in yet. And the only thing I can compare it to is in the of President Kennedy. I mean, it was like that. It wasn't the death of a great singer. It was the death of some great statesman or some great world figure.
So what's crowds then at the moment, John? You say you have crowds of people around the mansion and in Memphis. What are their attitudes towards? Are they going pleasure-seeking at the moment? Will you get one or two of those?
It runs the gamut, I suppose. Some of them are true dyed-in-the-wool fans, and they're crying, and they're very upset, and they're deeply, deeply affected by this. But other people, of course, a lot of people shout effect, and you know, to see what's going on, curiosity seekers and rubbernecks, we might call them. People who would look at anything if a big enough crowd gathered.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
In London at the moment, and around England, the radio stations and the television, a few tributes to Elvis. What's happening in the media there, television and radio?
Well, here in Memphis, almost every station is playing nothing but Elvis. And of course, all the record shops and bookstores have had a run. It started last night, and I'm sure is continuing. It's just wake-up time here between 7 and 8 o'clock right now. Whatever latent admiration is coming out in a big way now. People remembering him again through his death, as it were, and snatching up books and records and posters wherever they can get them.
Have you had a chance to speak to anybody that's been near to Elvis, John?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thanks a lot for talking to us, and we'll speak to you soon, John.
I hope I was...
Thank you very much indeed, John Wallace.
Bye-bye.